Given the Suds attack, how does Moscow perceive Europe's position, and what are the most realistic terms for direct energy negotiations?
Well, I think Russia's position is very clear, and Russia does not change its position since the beginning of this military conflict in Ukraine. So for Russia, it's important to provide its safety and security, and not allowing military forces or some hostile forces just to be on Ukrainian territory, because Ukraine is considered as a Russian backyard. So it's a totally different situation with Ukraine comparison to maybe with different countries for historical, cultural reasons. And of course, Russia would not ever accept that. So this territory of Ukraine would be hostile to Russia. And in this case, even this eastern part of Ukraine, which are now part of the Russian Federation, these people they've been considered as separatists by Ukraine
So,
since
Dr. Olga,
20.
you think that Russia will not concede or give some sort of concession when it comes to the lands that is already annexed?
I think we cannot even use the word concession to Russia, because Russia would never accept anything that would not align with its own interests. So no, it's our territory. There's no way to concession to give back or anything. I think it would be the opposite, just to move even further.
Okay, Dr. Camilla, if we can get your opinion, amidst the US-Russia mediation in Saudi Arabia, how do you assess the EU's assertions when it comes to strategic autonomy and ensuring long-term stability, considering the risk of a fragmented solution where the US is pushing for, Ukraine to give in and give concessions?
Well, the first thing is that the annexation, I would say, when it comes to the Russia, is a quite long history of its use as a diplomatic tool, especially just before the war. So clearly it will be an issue here when it comes to the global acceptance of such. But more importantly, we can see now that this is really Game of Thrones, if I can use this comparison when it comes to the situation in there, because obviously with the change of the leadership in the United States, everything changed as well globally. We have to take into account that now what we really should looking for is to have more and more involvement of the Gulf states, especially in the terms of maritime security globally, of elimination of global hunger globally as well, because as in Trump's negotiation, the China influence will rise. So maybe it will be a good idea as well to ensure that China and, for instance, India are just alongside the Gulf states, and not only the Saudi Arabia, but as well Qatar, but as well Kuwait, but as well Egypt as well. There should be more balance, and there should be some distance, because the last thing we need is more bloodshed and the bloodbath basically being creating between very long hostility. We have to take into account a very important thing, that when the whole annexation of Crimea, of Donbass started, there was no, in that time, there was no enough effort, and there was not enough